Hello, and thank you so much for joining me today on the Community Ledger. Today, I am going to react to more Democratic backlash. It looks like more and more lifelong Democrats are thinking about walking away from the party. So we are going to jump into the video with Touré speaking to Miss Abby Phillip on CNN, as well as a few callers that called into the Breakfast Club to give DJ Envy and Charlemagne a piece of their mind. So let's go ahead and jump into the video. Hello again, and thank you so much for joining me today on the Community Ledger. Again, my name is Andrea Banu. If you have not already, please go ahead and press that subscribe button. And if you would love to support my channel and my content, you can always click the link in the description and buy me a cup of coffee. Because as you know, if you've watched my show, I am addicted to coffee. Truth be told, I just poured myself a fresh cup right before I started this video and accidentally knocked it over. And I said, you know what? That was nobody but God, because I have been high on caffeine all morning, and God said, girl, you didn't had enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a break off this cup. But if you want to buy me a cup, I'm still gonna sneak it. I'm gonna drink it. But nonetheless, let's get into this video on CNN with Touré, how he is admitting that, you know what, I might have to back away from this party. So more and more people are coming toward the realization that that party it's a mess right now, and to all of those who have been dragged for not voting for Kamala, I say, listen, better late than never, better late than never. I've been preaching for some time now. This is how I even started my channel, speaking out against everything that was happening in that Kamala campaign. And so I'm not surprised. And like I said, better late than never. So let's go ahead and get into it.
My entire life. Never before did I say I should leave this party, because if democracy is at risk and you had no idea what to do and you have no plan, and even now at this moment you know nothing of what to do and you're capitulating to this is disgusting.
Are you thinking about leaving the Democratic Party? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, me personally, yes. I'm not an elected official, but I have always voted with the Democrats
over this issue.
Yeah, over the inability to figure out what to do in the face of fascism and the rise of Trump.
I hear you on that. The inability to have a plan is absolutely a problem, right? But I'm really questioning, what is the plan after the shutdown happens? Because when a shutdown happens, people don't get paid. And this is not exactly an administration that wants to keep the government open. They actually want the thing to be shut down.
Yeah, but here's the thing. And I'm not a Democrat, never was. I was a lifelong Republican and quit the party over Donald Trump because he is someone who doesn't respect the Constitution and is trying to rule like a king. So, but look, I was part of the Tea Party movement. I watched what happened and how Republicans were a resistance opposition party when Democrats ran everything. And watching this happen now as someone who's an independent, that's pro-democracy, that I guess you can say caucuses with the Democrats now, it is very frustrating. When you don't have a leader, there's no unification in a message. It hurts the grassroots and the troops that you need. Right. Could you imagine if, I don't know, during World War II, and you saw what was happening with the bombs over London, and then, it was just like, Churchill's just going to say, we're going to capitulate now because, what are we going to do about it? This is not the way you lead. What happens is that the Republicans who are in charge, they have to explain why workers aren't getting paid. They need to explain why they can't run the government. And the Democrats need to say, we were fighting for you. It's not they're in charge. And show that people are being fought for. I'm watching what's happening. And when you have a demoralized base, you're never going to lead an opposition. If you don't.
That's the part I'm still missing. She is saying that she is a liberal, okay? Or I'm sorry, an independent. She used to be a Republican and now she's an independent. Now she's Democratic leaning. She's with the caucus of Democrats. So, and she's sitting here stating that we're fighting for the people. But I still cannot get them to explain to me what exactly they are fighting for with regards to the people. Because from what I understand, from what I've been seeing all over social media, as well as on the news, is that people were frustrated with the economy. People were frustrated with the border. People were frustrated with what's happening in our schools and in the workplace and all these other agendas that they just were not happy with. So that is what I perceived as being what people were wanting. However, the Democrats keep saying, they're pushing back with regards to this shutdown and everything because they're fighting for the people. But what exactly are they fighting for? What demographic are they trying to maintain or represent? I'm missing it. Can somebody please get into the comments and explain it to me? Because I'm not understanding who they speak of when they say we're fighting for the people. What are those things that you're fighting for that this group of people that I'm not familiar with are wanting? Like, I'm still trying to figure that out.
Don't have the chutzpah, if you don't have the intestinal fortitude to lead, then get the hell out of the way, Chuck Schumer, and let the people who are willing to fight for their constituents lead the party. Because this is not the way to win.
Okay, she makes a compelling case that this is a leadership issue. Okay?
100%.
And I get that.
Yes.
Chuck.
Look, as the Democrat who gets Democrats elected at this table, with all due respect to all of my friends, there's a lot going on all at the same time. And stay with the old Mexican redneck, and I'll talk slowly for everybody, is that when you're not in charge of jackass, you've got to do something. And to your point, there's a lot of people that feel like you feel about this party right now. And as you go through race after race after race, there was a whole bunch of people that voted for Donald Trump. Democrats first have to realize that and understand why they voted for Donald Trump. And then they should realize, what does it mean to actually fight? Democrats have been in charge for a long time. Some of the same people. I ain't got here to throw hate at nobody, but the anxiety is very real in America right now. And that's why Donald Trump was elected.
So do you think they should have stopped this thing and shut the government down? That is really the question.
Look, as the political consultant here,
It's not Dems shutting the government down. It would be
that's what the Republicans would have said.
Okay. Let me
Democrats are shutting it down.
Let
Let's
me
just be clear. That's what
rephrase. Okay. The government would have shut down if there were not enough votes, if Democrats had not cast this vote. And that was a consequence of this.
Right.
Was that an appropriate consequence in order to do something, which is what the
You
base
saw two things happen at the same time. You saw Schumer said, I'm going to take these bullets for everybody. It may cost me my leadership position.
It should cost him his leadership position.
Democrats feel just like this right here. Throughout the country, we need them to show up in a midterm election. So
I'm
I think
not a Democrat, though. I'm an independent.
I'm talking about winning elections.
I know.
Yes.
And in order to win elections in 2026, if we actually have them, you have to have people that are motivated to vote for people who will fight for them.
So there you have it. You have so much infighting in regards to how to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Like, that whole party is just all over the place. And the thing about it is, it's like, I can't tell if there's like a small sector that genuinely cares about, the issues of American citizens, or is it all about like, we have an agenda and we have to stick to that? Like, I can't even make heads or tails or what any of them are even talking about on any day of the week. And Touré is 100%. He's like, the grassroots are pissed off because they're not being heard. And even he, as a lifelong Democrat, is like, you know what, I may have to back off. I am thinking about backing off because right now they're nothing but chaos. And you can't be so anti-Trump, but at the same time, don't bring no solutions. You don't have no alternatives. You can't say anything in regards to speaking to your constituents outside of hate Trump. Like, we're going to push back on anything he does, but that's not enough. Like, that's not working for you. Like, clearly that's not working for you. You tried that with Kamala. Her whole campaign was built on how horrible Trump is and how I'm not Trump. That did not work. That's not enough. That's rhetoric. That's propaganda. That's scapegoating and BS, and the American public is not buying for it. It's all theater. And so you got to come up with something else. And it's almost as if they don't have anybody, intelligent enough or articulate enough to really just sit down and say, listen, we're going to have to change things up in this manner and that manner, and we're going to have to present it. Like, I mean, shit, at this point, like, fake it. Make it look like you got something on the table. They can't even so being as fragmented as they are, I I still can't think of anything outside of the fact that they just have a particular agenda and they are going to die on that hill. They want to just make sure that they ram that thing home and nobody really has a say. Like, either you accept that this is what our agenda is and vote for us and keep us in office so that we can push on all this other craziness, or else. And that's really all they're giving you. That's all they're giving you. And, you know, like the lady said, you know, I don't know what they're going to do in the midterms or this next presidential election, because they don't have nothing. And for me, it's sad for the people who genuinely want to participate in democracy and genuinely want to participate in actually voting, because they really don't have no options. If they don't like Trump, they ain't got nothing else. They literally don't have nothing else to work with. And that's crazy in 2025 in America. That's crazy. Democrats' leadership problem and messaging problem. You think Democrats gonna sit back and go to the drawing board and say, let's figure this out? Nope. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And that's the crazy part. They're not gonna say, okay, everybody is screaming from the rooftops that we're not talking about what the people want. We have a leadership problem. We have a messaging problem. Let's go ahead and get back to the drawing board and figure this out. No, they just gonna get back on the internet and start talking about how, you know, Trump is crazy and how, you know, everybody that voted for him is crazy and we should just fear him, and they just gonna throw a tantrum and hope for the best. That is their political strategy. Throw a tantrum and hope for the best. Well, unless you are in kindergarten, that ain't gonna work. That's not gonna work, Democrats. And it's just it's disheartening. It's saddening. Like I said, for me personally, I'm not bound to the Democratic Party, so I'm not tripping. But for the people who genuinely like cannot vote for Trump and cannot vote Republican, they don't have nothing. Like, they don't have nothing. They want to, you know, do their civic duty and go out and vote for these people, but they can't stomach voting for these people who are just so unqualified, so unconcerned, and so just lost in the sauce with regards to what Americans actually want. And it's crazy. It's crazy to watch. Again, my name is Andrea Banu, and thank you so much for joining me on the Community Ledger. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and watch the next video by clicking right here.